everybody, welcome to Smashing Game Time. We are three brothers that go through gaming's back catalog of yesteryear. I am your host, Nick. I am joined again, as always, by my brother, Josh.
Salute to everybody. I don't know. It's been like 3 weeks. I don't know what to do anymore.
And then back by unpopular demand is Jake for the last time.
And you know it's gonna suck when TikTok's banned. That one clip's no longer going to be there.
That one clip is gone. I look forward to. Okay, I don't mean to start the show on a whole thing, but I mean, what are we losing in TikTok?
I honestly, I'm cool with it. It's just one less social media to worry about.
Well, and you know, my son was watching. So you know they have the Bluey episodes, but then they also have the Bluey mini episodes that are like 2 minutes.
Yeah, just let me tell you about the times I look up Bluey on on TikTok, Nick.
Well, I'm gonna connect everything. Hold on now. So the mini episodes just have me worried because, like, you know, TikTok, it's short form media. Short form media doesn't translate well into people doing long form media or watching long form media. So when he wants to watch the shorter ones, I kind of get mad. I'm kind of like, what? No, let's just watch a regular ass Bluey. I don't need this bite sized ass Bluey. Like, let's watch the regular stuff. So when people are like, oh, TikTok's gone, that's where I get my news, I'm like, go fucking get it somewhere else then.
Where they get their news? Like, what the fuck is wrong with them?
Nudes.
Subscribe to a newspaper. Fucking, I know I sound like an old man, but subscribe to a newspaper.
Go to Facebook. I'm sure your grandparents are probably posting shit on there complaining about something.
As much as I hate it, go to Reddit. People will post it, and like if you can't afford the news, if you can't afford the newspaper, someone will be like, "Ah, man, the paywall," and then someone will be like, "Say no more, I've got you," and they'll post the whole thing in there.
I have to ask again, what's wrong with Reddit?
Reddit is just annoying. It's just people. It's a wrong generation people getting on there and being like, "Man, stuff sucks, man." Just like every other social media.
Okay, yeah, you just described every other bit of social media.
Exactly,
ever.
It's just like every other social media. That's my issue with it.
But Reddit has its usefulness.
Read a newspaper. Read the newspaper.
Well,
read the written word.
I think it depends on what subreddit you go to, because like I only follow subreddits that I'm interested in. So like TFT, Brawl Stars, esports. You know, those are what I'm into. Like, I don't know what subreddits you're into, but it's pretty chill.
Let's see. I've got a good healthy mix. So I'll have like video games that I like, TV shows that I like. I do vinyl, I do comic books. I do vinyl circle jerk because I just love it when I love a good circle jerky sub. Josh does the feet sub. I know Josh does the feet sub.
No, my favorite one I've come across though, because I honestly I don't like. I'll have my few that I go to, like Steam Deck and all that, but my favorite ones that come up are just the whatever's on the popular list. And back in the day, I remember it used to be "Am I hot?" because that's where all the girls would post like, I needed like add a girl or even the guys. I didn't need an add a boy. I need someone to come here and tell me I'm hot, even though I get probably told in the daily. Then it turned into the very R/XXX rated stuff to where now like you get before you go in, it's like, hey, this is NSFW. Are you sure? So the new thing that's come across lately that I've seen, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be that shortly. Is I think it's called portrait dump or selfie dump or something like that. And it's just same thing. A bunch of people take a bunch of pictures of themselves and their faces. Like, what do you think's the best? 1, 2, or 3? I think 3 is my favorite. And I'm like, wow, this is a month away from being another NSFW subreddit.
See, I've had the block Reddits like that because so the closest thing to that I follow is r roast me because I love watching people get roasted. Yes. And for some, I guess because I like r roast me, it has started recommending a sub where people like have their noses rated and ask if they need to get a nose job. And I'm like, I don't know. Stop it. And every time I see it, it's always a person that doesn't need a nose job. I'm like, get this shit out of here. I don't want this fucking shit. Another two that I follow are Shower Orange and Shower Beer. And that's just people taking an orange or a beer in the shower and taking a photo with it. And I do love a good subreddit drama. So like Shower Beer a few weeks ago banned under the belt pictures. So no vaginas, no penises, no nothing. And folks were pretty pissed about it because, you know, you're in the shower. It's implied that you are going to be not safe for work. But there's also there's a theory going around that it was a way to get less dong on the site because people just want the boobs apparently.
Oh, I mean, let's be honest. What were those old sites that we used to use? Like you could randomly, like you'd be teamed up with someone randomly, and like you could
Chat roulette.
Chat roulette.
You had me
You were
worried. I
on
was
there
like,
to meet.
wait, what sites were we on?
No, why couldn't think of the name of it? Like you went on there to like meet new people and maybe refine your culture.
You weren't
understanding
on
and
there to
all that.
meet new
You
people.
weren't
You were
on
on
there
there to jack it.
Exactly. That's what it turned into. That's the name. So it's like
I'm a
oh.
cultured man. I'm on chat roulette and I'm gonna jack it.
Hey, our generation's chat roulette though was Uno for the Xbox 360.
Oh my god, I'll never forget that. So everyone in this room was here, but I'm gonna tell this story anyway. We were all in my room, which was in the basement. And you know, we had those shitty little Xbox 360 cameras that spat out. I think the image was like a 360p, right?
Yep, 360p.
And you know, everyone, so you could have, when you were playing Uno, the arcade game Uno, you could have your little avatar, you could have your little picture that you had with your gamer tag, or you could have the camera on. And there was one game we jumped into where these two, for lack of a better term, enormous people were having sex.
Whales.
They were whales, yes. They very,
Yes.
I try not to use that, but oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god.
So if you're watching this on YouTube or whatever, you can see visually. Just imagine Nick and Josh.
I'd say a little
No, I
bigger
think it
than
was
that,
worse.
honestly. I
would
think
say
it
a
was
lot
bigger.
worse.
I would say it was bigger.
That man covered that girl. I'm sorry, that girl. I feel so bad.
Pasty white skin everywhere.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
well,
And thank God the cameras weren't 1080i, or we would have seen but they were they were
I think the worst thing about it though, was we had a friend that would get on the mic and try to call position.
Or there was another friend, we were on chat roulette and we just had the camera on him because he was a good looking guy, and we had him laying on the bed pretending to be typing, and we didn't have the page scrolled all the way down. So when we finally did scroll all the way down, he like him pretending to type was actually like his hands in the air. There was one time where we were in the chat with somebody, and then we revealed like the guy in the bed just wasn't him. Like there were 10 of us in the room with him. And I remember the guy freaking out like, whoa, there's so many dudes in there. What are y'all doing? Jerking each other off? Man, Xbox 360 was a weird, fun little community experiment. And so was chat roulette, for that matter. But we're not here to talk about dudes jacking off on chat roulette. No, we're closing out our Arcane Chat Talking Act 3, which came out a few weeks back. If you're wondering, a few weeks back, where the fuck have you guys been? I've been moving. A handful of us have been sick. We're finally getting to it. You know, it's been a weird year with everyone's calendar, so we're getting back into the swing of things fully. My voice is finally podcast ready. Josh, is your voice finally podcast ready?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been not shitty. It's just been a crazy couple of weeks with everything going on, and it's just a whirlwind. Honestly, I'm ready to get this knocked out though, so we can move on. Because obviously, guys, we're getting ready for Nick's favorite time of the year, or second favorite time of the year, Goaty. So even though it's technically Goaty,
we'll be recording Goaty here very shortly. Josh and I actually, after this episode, are going to record another episode of us doing the categories, and that will air on the what is next week, the 18th. That'll air on the 18th, so that way we have time to play more games, do Goaty the following week, and then the week of Christmas, it's a fucking week packed of shit, man. Fucking full ass fucking week, right, Josh?
Oh yeah, don't forget we're also doing our I like to call my emergency episode.
Your emergency Batman episode.
Yes.
I thought of another one we could do, by the way.
Add it to the list.
I will. But before we do all that, normal episode stuff at the top here. You can find Smashing Game Time anywhere you get your podcasts. We are on Apple, Spotify. We are on YouTube Podcast and YouTube proper. I switched from Spotify, so I wonder if Tidal has podcasts, because now I kind of want to put us on Tidal. But I digress. We'll get there later. Fuck the algorithm, tell a friend. That's right. We don't fuck with no machines in this house. In this house, this is word of mouth house. That was really weird to say. It sounded good in my head. A word of mouth house. A word of mouth house. We want to see
Stop
what you
while
do
you're
with
ahead.
your mouth.
Just stop.
We
Just
want to see what you do
stop.
with your mouth, and we hope that it's tell other people about this podcast.
We want to see you work that mouth, boy.
Work
How many
that
times am I gonna
mouth.
be like, yeah, I'm done, I'm out?
Work that mouth. Jake's realizing he was a good idea that he left last year. Jake's like, I am so good. We should take you off the promotional material, shouldn't we? No, I kind of like it. Aesthetically, having 3 people there. Yeah, I kind of want to white your current photo out so people are like, did he die? Is he gone?
It should just be like a truly negative photo.
Yeah, it's just it's the one where it goes negative because he murdered
Yes.
somebody.
Yes.
But really what they found out was that boy was a monster.
Jake went for the Butterfinger CEO.
Jake is actually Luigi Maggioni's doppelganger. They hang out all the time and do weird shit. Did you? Oh my god, this is gaming related, so I'm gonna bring it up. Did you see that some news outlet was reporting that he had played Among Us? He had
As an assassination game.
as an Assassin's Creed is over here like, am I a fucking joke to you? Am I a joke? Do you not take me seriously?
Well, first off, I'm sure I forget who the guys over there who made the game. I'm sure they're just like jumping up and down, like, dude, we're still relevant. Yeah,
They
are. It's a great game.
Somebody I know retweeted them or reposted them on Blue Sky, and all they said was So they're taking it in stride. They're like, sure.
But of all things to be compared to, like, yes, technically, to an extent, I guess, but like, of all things, like, yes. Why?
It's reaching. It's very much reaching for a story. It's like, oh, he played a video game in which he killed others. It's kind of like there's an interview I heard last week where they were interviewing somebody who might have stayed in the same hostel as the guy, and they were just talking about the hostel. It's like, what is this interview? Why are you were just trying to fill airtime and sell some ads because you're like, man, this is and now he's sexy. Like, people are like, oh my god, he's so attractive. His name is Luigi Margion. He's a rich Italian kid, and people are just fucking running with it. He's gonna be on a t-shirt if he isn't already.
My favorite thing about the whole thing, though, someone said that it just makes it so relevant, is good luck finding a jury of peers that are going to not consider him not guilty. Like, literally, everybody has had an incident with insurance companies, and it's gonna like, yeah, good luck finding somebody who's gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm unbiased, I can do this. No, they're gonna be like, fuck the insurance company, that motherfucker had it coming.
I want to see. Have they released his manifesto yet? As soon as they reported he had a manifesto, I was like, of course he fucking does.
No, not that I'm aware of, but he did apparently have a YouTube video that got posted, and had a countdown and a date showing like that he apparently was going to get captured, and in the photo of his YouTube channel was actually a picture of him holding a McDonald's cup.
It's so fucking weird. There's gonna be some conspiracy theories. It's gonna get weird. It's gonna get weird until it isn't weird anymore.
It's already weird.
Yeah, and we're gonna be hearing this man's name for the next year. But hey, you know what? Thank goodness the Game Awards are in a few days. That'll distract us from it, right?
Dude, I'm sure Game Ranks is gonna have like weird stories about it.
Fucking who is that? Falcon on Game Ranks or?
I love Falcon.
Dude, I love Falcon.
Falcon here. Hey, weird things going on. I can hear his voice. I watch him every once in a while, but his voice is just very distinct. It's like that awkward. It's awkward. You can tell he's kind of improvising some of his lines as he's going.
I love the ones where he's trying to keep it in, but he's like starting to like chuckle.
I do like this Falcon guy. But hey, we've been out a few weeks, so that's given everybody some time to play some games. Jake, I'll start with you. What have you been playing?
So, you know, your basic TFT, a new patch comes out tomorrow that adds Warwick, Victor, and Mel into the game, which is going to change the game for everybody, and then a bunch of, nerfs and buffs, whatever. But they also have that LAN tournament coming up this weekend, and I'm sure a lot of pro players are going to be pissed because of the changes that happen tomorrow. They're going to have to relearn shit.
Yeah, that was always weird. I've been playing a little bit of Iron Harvest with Gus, and it was reminding me of the days of like we have a tournament coming up, but a patch is coming through a few days before the tournament. So it always left like everyone in a weird spot where no one knew what the new meta was going to be because we
Right.
didn't know what the big exploit was. It, it's weird because people are always looking for that exploit, and
Mhm.
it's kind of it's a race to find that exploit before the competition, basically.
Well, and TFT is good on if people abuse exploits, they track it and you get banned.
Yeah.
They've been doing that since the beginning, and I'm sure if someone does find exploits, that they will, you know, flag them down. And then,
What character is everybody super worried about that's gonna break everything?
I kind of looked at the patch notes. Kind of looked at the patch notes. I mean, obviously the six costs, the three new people are gonna probably be an issue. Um, don't know on top of my head to be honest, because I took a glance at it when I was at work today. Um,
I do love a good
another,
patch note though.
another thing, Brawl Stars announced a big update. They have a crossover with Toy Story.
Toy Story.
Toy Story.
Disney has
Just
been very willy nilly with their stuff. I mean, Miss Incredible in Fortnite. Fall Guys has skins every other day.
Brawlhalla's got Star Wars. So this it's Brawler Days and the Toy Story event. It's really big, it's huge. They have so many new skins coming out. Um, Buzz Lightyear is a playable character for like a short time. I think for like a whole month. Uh, it seems OP. It's pretty cool, but you only get to play him for a month, so there's that. Just recently, I hit top 50 in the U.S. with one character because they have like leaderboards for like every character, uh, either local or global. I'm like 54 with one character
Like
in
what
the
character?
U.S. Her name's Eve. She's like a little space alien that kind of floats over water. Not many people know how to play her. Not many people play her actually. But she just got her hypercharge today, which is like a special uh, buff that your character gets, and it also enhances your super when you get it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty OP. Um, but global, I think I'm like top 500. It was pretty cool, and the game's popular. It's probably one of the most popular mobile esports games in the world.
Just getting ready to ask what are you playing on, but it is mobile. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else, Jake?
Uh, TV show wise, been watching a show called Bosch.
Yeah, you
It's
mentioned it.
actually
Like you texted us. And I was like, I hope Jake knows that show's like old as hell now.
so I think it started back in 2014.
Yeah, they have Bosch. They have Bosch Legacy. I think there's a third Bosch show. It's all on Amazon, right?
Yeah, I've seen or I saw that Bosch Legacy actually has one more season coming up that I think they're airing next year. But it's actually really good. I didn't know anything about it. Jackie and I are in season 2, but it's got Lance Reddick in it.
Did didn't Daniel Tosh have a bit about Bosch? I know he had a Franklin Bash, but didn't he have a Bosch bit during one of his episodes?
I don't know. I remember the Bash bit, but I don't remember the Bosch bit.
What what's
But
Franklin and Bash up to this season?
uh, but it's really good. I highly recommend it. I mean, the reviews are phenomenal on it.
You know what that makes me want to watch really bad? That I keep hearing really bad, not bad, really good things about is Reacher.
They're, yeah, I heard good things about that too.
Like the
Or
third season of Reacher apparently has the big guy from Ungentlemanly Warfare in it as the bad guy, and the whole the whole way they're pitching is we've got an even bigger bad guy, and he's fucking huge. They're leaning into the dad genre, and I love it. Just
and
from the
like
marketing standpoint. So I'm like, I need to watch Reacher.
I'm cool. Like I like the rookie with
No,
Nathan Fillion.
yeah, Nathan Fillion. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And I'm not much for cop shows, but like I think those two shows are really good. And I tried watching what's it, Jack Ryan?
Is
And
that the one with Jim?
after the first season, I feel like it's just too repetitive.
They apparently go through showrunners a lot. It sounds like what's his nuts isn't the most easiest person to
No,
work with.
no,
John
but it's
Jonathan
Jim.
Krasinski.
I heard he's an asshole.
He I would bet he would hate that we're calling him Jim from The Office. You
Everybody
mean
calls him Jim. No one calls
you
him
mean
by
Jim?
his real name.
Jim Krasinski? You know, there's probably one asshole out there who's like, I'm gonna call him Jim Krasinski to his face.
Can you guys do a good Jim impression?
I'm not even gonna try because Jim is the villain of the show, and I don't care what he says.
He is a menace. He is a fucking menace.
He really is. Like, we like salute him for being this goofy guy. And it's like, no, you do realize he's like trying to force one of his coworkers to cheat on her boyfriend slash fiance, and then he's just a complete menace to his desk mate. Like, no.
I wish in the early seasons he would have turned to the camera and be like, I didn't know she was engaged. I think my hero of the show is Nick, the IT guy that calls them all on their shit that one episode.
Yes, they couldn't think of his name.
Yeah.
Wait, was that John? No, John quit 3 years ago.
He's my hero. And the older I get, the more I understand Toby, but also the more I understand the hate for Toby. Because HR in most places is pretty fucking useless.
I'm still trying to figure out when it's funny.
It's funny. It's just I don't want to be that person that says it hasn't aged well, but just a lot of it's very 2000s humor. Like every time someone shares the gif of like of Kevin spilling the chili, I'm like, oh, fucking hilarious.
I mean, and that's how I feel too about like Friends. Like, I absolutely love Friends. Like, that's our go-to. Like, if we're not watching How I Met Your Mother, is like we're just sitting down eating. We don't want to watch something that's gonna fucking make us pay attention. Well, it's either that or Friends, and it's like,
yeah,
I like it, but it's also aged so poor. Like, you can't. It's not relevant anymore. It's nowhere near relevant, other than the few moments of like pivot or
Pivot,
we were on a break.
Pivot. See,
exactly, and it's just because
I haven't seen Friends, and I know those two. I know those two scenes by heart. But even like How I Met Your Mother is aged like dog shit.
Yeah,
and it's not even that old if you think about it.
Because it ended in what, 2015, 2016, somewhere along
2016, I think, yeah,
somewhere along those lines. I think my issue with The Office, and this isn't me like saying the show sucks or anything, but I think once Jim and Pam got together, there wasn't really much to stay tuned for besides the wacky office antics. Like, the people who watch The Office and like want that in real life, I'm like, are you fucking stupid? Are you dumb? You just go get to know your coworkers, you dumb fuck.
yeah.
I mean, like, back to that whole chili thing. I hate like you get like media sources that are like, oh, this day 25 years ago, he spilled the chili.
That's something that drives me crazy. Like, ESPN will do a post like, hey, 25 years ago, Rocky beat up on blah blah blah. It's like, this is not real. This is a made up thing. You are a real sports news site. What the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. You even got like all these like Twitter accounts like Pop Crave or something that it's just I hate that stuff. Yeah, just like you were saying, where they flash back to 20 years ago, Kevin spilled the chili. Where were you? Where were you when Kevin spilled the chili, guys? Where were you? And I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'll start on my. I have some games. I'll start on my TV. I'm finishing up What We Do in the Shadows. The second to last episode of the series came out yesterday, which I thought was really good. It was the promotion episode. So for those who don't know, season 6 of the show, Guillermo is no longer working for Nandor. He actually works for a, Wall Street brokers, finance guys. But he's basically still the same. He's still like an underling. He's still mistreated by his boss. And, I was really worried going into the season because for like the first 5-6 episodes, it felt like, okay, what are we building here? What are we building towards here? Like, I know we've only got 11 episodes to close out the season, but it doesn't feel like we're building towards anything. And then last week they did an episode that was basically a riff on the Warriors, where a Frankenstein that Laszlo built killed another vampire, and they were being hunted down by all these other different kinds of. So like they were hunted down by like theater kid vampires and like barista vampires and all this stuff. And it was a really cool episode of just that really harked back to like the early seasons of the show where they were just doing goofy vampire shit. Uh, leaning on the goofy vampire shit slash the roommate shit. And this week, the promotion episode, Guillermo was supposed to get a promotion, but the boss actually was fucking with him and wasn't going to give him a promotion. And it's teetering back. So a major thing early in the show is that Guillermo wants Nandor to make him a vampire. And spoilers for the whole show, by the way, but in season 4, at the end of season 4, he gets a friend to turn him into a vampire. And it's not everything that he wants to be. He also hurts Nandor because in familial legacy, your master is supposed to turn you into it, and if they don't, that's an affront to them, and they'll kill you or they'll kill themselves. I forget the exact lore of it, but by the end of season 5, they find a way to turn Guillermo back into a person. Oh, also, by the way, Guillermo, for those who forgot, is he's in the lineage of Van Helsing, so he's a badass vampire hunter. So like they're doing all these cool things with that, and you know, Guillermo being looked over for this promotion really just draws back to that original want of him wanting to be a vampire. But when you really start to look at it, he doesn't want to be a vampire. He doesn't want power. What Guillermo wants is respect. And I think it's really cool that they're going back to that. And they end, I don't want to spoil the end of the episode, but they kind of hint at like how they're going to close it out with this next episode. And I'm kind of excited. The show, for the better part of this last season, I was kind of bored. But these last 2 episodes have really brought me back in, and I'm excited to see how they close it out. On the video game side, I've been playing a lot of Shovel Knight. You guys know Shovel Knight, right?
Of course, who doesn't?
So I've been playing the main campaign with my son. I'm already almost through it. I found a really good exploit in the game. Do you know what it is? It's the coin. I think I know which one you're on. Yeah. It's the coin. The coin is really fucking good. Shovel Knight is set up a lot like Mega Man, where I don't think the bad guys have like a personal weakness where like if you hit them with this special weapon it does more damage, but there are things that give you an advantage if an enemy is being a bit of an ass. So there's a shovel enemy, and the way he moves is kind of weird, but if you throw a coin just right, it'll hit him, but then he reverses to like try to get away from you, but then he reverses right into the coin, so he gets hit again. And as soon as I found that exploit, I was like, fuck this guy. I think it's the Ice Knight, or he's the big Ice Knight that also has a shovel. And that's made the game more fun. I've also started playing some of those side games. So I started the one with King Knight, which I didn't know was a card game. There's a card game in there.
Oh, God. He's gone in the rabbit hole.
I only played the first level, but I will report back once I've played more of that card game. I'm excited about that. It's not on here, but I've also been playing Super Meat Boy. I've been going back and doing the warp zones with my son, and I'm really liking some of the side characters. I remember when we played it, and again, Meat Boy came out in 2010, so 14 years ago. Remember how old you were. The game was very hard. It still is very hard, but I'm enjoying some of those side characters a little more. There was one called the Kid, and his levels are near impossible because it's walls of spikes and you have to like time it perfectly. He has a double jump, but then you have to bounce off a wall to do the double jump, but you also have to watch all these spikes. You're a very small little man, and it is very tough, but I am enjoying Super Meat Boy right now. And then I played the first like 15 minutes of Indiana Jones and the Golden Circle. And for those who don't know, the first 15 minutes of Indiana Jones and the Golden Circle is essentially the first 15 minutes of Indiana Jones and the which movie is it? Shit. And the Raiders of the Lost Ark. You were essentially playing that opening temple. You were basically doing it, and it's a dream.
Like literally set for set.
Set for set. The guy has spiders on him. You clear the spiders off of him. You dodge the light so you don't get caught in the spike traps. You run from the boulder. You have to jump the gap after the guy refuses to throw you your whip. It's piece for piece, but it's beautiful. It feels very cinematic, and I cannot wait to play more of it. These are the same folks that did the Nazi killing games. So these guys really love killing Nazis, as do I. So I'm gonna keep playing that. It's on Game Pass. It's on Game Pass. If you didn't know, it is on the Game Pass. I also finally finished that Irredeemable series, which was about the Superman who basically gave up on people because they suck. It kind of fizzled out. I was kind of disappointed. They, the trade paperback I was reading, so I was reading Irredeemable, but there's a companion series called Incorruptible about a bad guy that fights him, and they kind of mix them in that trade paperback. And so I was finding that more interesting, so I might go back and read that. I also finished another one that's being made into a TV show by the guys who wrote Dark, in case you were wondering. Something is Killing the Children. And if you guys haven't read that, I would recommend Something is Killing the Children.
Is that the creepy one you showed me not last time, the time before?
That might have been Department of Truth. Same writer, different artist.
Okay.
Something is Killing the Children is this. There's 40 issues now. I read all 40 in like 2 weeks. And basically, children. So, like, let's say, Josh, you believe in the boogeyman. You believe in the boogeyman so badly that it comes to life and it eats your parents. And
okay, you did tell me about this one.
Yeah, there's a house of people that go out and take care of these monsters, but they also have to keep themselves secret. So they're like, the kids may live, they may not, but they want to keep it a secret. So it's about these towns fighting off these monsters with the help of this woman named Erica Slaughter, who is part of this house called the House of Slaughter that has all these different rules. There are people with black bandanas that they're the lone wolves. The white bandanas hunt in packs. I think the scarlet bandanas are the cleanup folks. There's Azul bandanas that are like like if it were 007, they're your Qs. They do all your research. They go through the bestiary like, oh, it's this, you need to do that, blah, 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 blah. And they've only done 2 towns. It's a really cool series. Like, they'll do 10 issues for a town, and then they'll have like a bunch of small adventures, or they'll have like an origin story for Erica Slaughter. And they've also done some spin-offs where like they'll follow just like the house. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm reading a lot of stuff. I'm going to pass it off to Josh.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. So I've been playing Delta Squad. Just came out last week. Essentially, it is a hero shooter in the style of Battlefield. So destructible environments. You are able to use all weapons with all the different classes. Each class has a different set of gadgets or skills that they can do. Vehicles and whatnot, you name it, it's on there. Really fun. It's done by Team Jade. Nothing that hasn't already been done. It's just they're up front with everything, going like, yeah, hey guys, here's everything that we're giving the game. Everything right now that we're selling you is purely cosmetic, and you can, for the most part, earn a good chunk of it.
Okay. And that was free. It's free to play?
It is free to play. They do have a season pass, but it's not required. So a lot of fun. I mean, I'm enjoying it so far for what it is. I know what I'm getting myself into with it.
And did you say it's early access? I don't remember.
Technically, it is early access. They just released the beta.
Okay.
But it's free to play for everybody.
I've got all these free games. I might need to check it out. That and Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, Marvel Rivals looks fun. I hear it's a better Overwatch, and the only issue that people are having with it is the roll queue.
Oh, I heard the Shark's been like the biggest, like, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit.
Yeah, I've heard Jeff the Shark is very I've heard some Jeff the Shark jokes.
I've heard Jeff the Shark, and I've also heard people are still pissed they have not gotten rid of the exploit for Doctor Strange.
What's the exploit for Strange?
You can create a portal in front of the attacker's door before it opens, and they can run through, and then you can have the portal that leads, wherever the next location is, out of bounds, and they can instantly die.
Oh, I feel like that's kind of cool. As long as you can't fucking if you do that, there should be a longer cooldown or something.
I don't know if they ever actually truly give it a fix, but I just laughed. It's like that was a problem when the beta was out, and it's still an issue. Like, maybe just I mean, obviously it's a tactic. You should probably like be prepared for it to happen. If you see a Doctor Strange on their team, just assume they're going to do it.
Assume they're
I
going to put you
digress.
out of the map. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still
I
think that's
mean,
pretty cool.
I do like how Hawkeye is like one of the most OP characters in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. See, he somehow finds a way to be the top dog.
Not only that,
And
but let's
then
talk about there's already a controversy for them with Blizzard. Blizzard's so pissed, and it's like, really?
Oh, what happened?
They're upset because Black Widow is essentially what's her name? Widowmaker?
Widowmaker.
Yeah. They're basically the same exact like person, and it's like, yeah. Like what did you expect?
The thing that bothers me is everyone's like, "Oh, do you like the way Wolverine looks in this game?" I'm like, who cares?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
I do like the fact that you can literally I don't know if it's for like every single character, but I know with Hulk and Wolverine, you can get on a Hulk can grab you and throw you as Wolverine. You do like you get launched and then you can use your special over wherever he throws you. And it's like, okay, that's fucking cool. Like shit like that, that's cool.
Now I know like wasn't Fortnite doing some kind of giveaway if you play Marvel Rivals? I'm kind of wondering if Marvel Snap's doing something similar. It's like, hey, prove to us you've been playing Marvel Rivals, and we'll give you a free pack of cards or some shit.
Probably
Cards.
It's been a minute.
I don't know. I mean, I saw that Fortnite's been doing a lot lately.
They've been busy. Josh, I also see you've been playing Silent Hill 2 Remake. Wasn't this a gift you weren't supposed to open yet, you fuck?
No one said I couldn't. Santa didn't say motherfucker have a note in it. It just said Merry Christmas. So Santa gave me.
Do you know who gave that to you?
I have a huge inclination of yes, I know who gave it to me.
Okay.
I'm gonna imagine it's
Because-
someone who's not coming into town.
Yes.
There's only two people. Who could it be? Who could it be?
There's only one person. What are you talking about?
There's two people.
Oh,
Yeah, there's two of them.
I didn't. I was thinking one couple. I was thinking they're a unified person, not individuals. I apologize.
No, Josh, you can be a couple, and they can still be two individuals, Josh.
But yeah, that was my assumption, is that it was you or Jackie. So thank you, Santa.
How is it? How is it? How is that nightmare of a
it's-
game? How's your nightmare before Christmas? Your literal nightmare before
My little-
Christmas.
Good. I'm actually enjoying it so far. I have yet to use the gun, even though I have the gun. So I'm working through the apartments right now. So I think I just finished the coin puzzle, which I think is a little over halfway. Like basically, I just met is it Barry? Is that his name? The
Yes.
fat kid, fat guy.
Yes.
Yes, I just met him. Basically, that's where I'm at.
So, having played all three of the major horror remakes in the last year, which one's top dog?
And like just for me, in my opinion,
Between Deadpool, RE4 remake, or
Between-
between Dead Space, RE4 remake, and Silent Hill 2 remake, which one is top dog?
Dead Space.
You think so?
Honestly, guys, Dead Space is like, I like Resident Evil 4 for what it is. Like, I like the fact that they definitely went more horror aspect with this one, with the remake, than the action that they had going. But Dead Space just has a place in my heart. Like, there is no game like it. And I hope to God they come back with a remake for 2. And I hope to God we see a sequel to 3, especially the way they left it off. I want to know what happens. I'm so intrigued by that story. It's a fascinating story. And we just don't, there's just not enough of it. I hate companies who are just like, oh, this is a great idea. No, we're going to go ahead and shut it all down because this
So-
game didn't make us money.
So what if 3 did what Callisto Protocol did and released a DLC that revealed it was all just a dream? The whole series.
So, well, they did come out with a DLC that made more story, but it made it better than the way they ended it.
But Callisto Protocol, it was all a dream, Josh. They could do that.
Don't you fucking remind me.
They set that game up. They set it up. It was so perfect. It was so fucking
They
perfect.
literally, and I hope to God someone in their right mind goes, no, we're going to X that whole thing. That DLC does not count. That is not actually what happened.
Well,
It's a
they're not.
nightmare. He's having a nightmare or something.
They're not around anymore, Josh.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that. I'm saying whoever takes over the IP, 'cause someone's going to take it eventually.
So you choose Dead Space over Resident Evil 4, where you can just randomly backflip for no reason.
Yeah, no, it's not random. It's the most pointless. Like, it's up there with, was it Spider-Man 3 for the PS2, where he just backflips in the middle of the air for no reason and gets caught. It's up there with that. It's like, what?
Like, why?
We all know Mario has the best backflip, pointless backflip. Yahoo!
No, not compared to these two. Not compared to these two.
I'm not sure if I showed you guys or sent you guys that Instagram thing, but like, whenever Nintendo needs a game, you know that scene in Dark Knight where Joker goes down the money as it's on fire?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, where's the Italian?
Yeah. You posted that somewhere. I saw it and I was like, yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, for what it is so far, I am enjoying it. I forgot how hard Silent Hill can be, though, and how unforgiving it can be at times.
It's kind of,
so it's a nice.
It's exhausting. Like I think it's the most exhausting of the three, just because it's throwing these grotesque creatures at you. Whereas like RE4, they get creepier, but they get more like huge and like wormy. Whereas like Silent Hill 2 is very sexual.
Yeah,
like sexual assault, sexual like weird looking creatures.
Like the first one is like, it's, I don't know if it's like an actual thing or whatever they're going for, but it's like a grotesque thing that like has no arms and just vomits. And it's like, okay, and it crawls everywhere. It's super creepy. And then the next monster you get introduced to is legs on torso.
Really? You don't ever fight Pyramid Head, right? You only run from him, if I remember correctly.
So far I just had one of my first interactions with him. And
because he's assaulting one of those other monsters the first time you see him.
Yeah, well, he's assaulting two of them technically.
It's like one of those games where, like, okay, I need a break.
It was definitely one of those, like, I forgot, and because it's, this is still gonna be fresh in my mind. I'm like, I don't remember the original 2 as well. He comes up, you're hiding in the closet. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't played it and wants to play it. You go into the closet, you're waiting there, you pull your gun out, you're like, okay. And first off, kudos to them for actually like learning firearm safety. He has his index finger away from the trigger. Like, I thought that was a cool little like tidbit of like, oh, someone did their research, someone knew what they were doing.
Dude, everyone pulling a full 360 on this and being like, oh no, we like to, like, I remember the previews going into this, everyone's like, I don't know if Bloober's got this. I don't know, man. Bloober team.
They know what they're doing. Honestly, so far I've been impressed by everything. The puzzles have been fantastic. The enemies can be a little frustrating, but it's mainly because I'm not so, like, when it comes to the horror games, I'm not used to this using a melee weapon. I'm used to running, gunning, and stomping. You know what I mean?
Yeah, horror games have gotten a lot faster in the last 10, 15 years.
So yeah, it makes you really have to slow down, but it's not like a bad slowdown. It's just, I'm so used to being fast paced. I'm like, okay, I need to slow down. So I eventually pick up and I'm getting better with it. I can fight 3 of the monsters at the same time. So it's like, whatever. But there's the level of details they put into everything. But anyway, I digress. I'm going back to the story. He's hiding in the closet. He's pointing the gun out, but he's not doing anything. Pyramid Head literally just walks up, stops right there in the front. It doesn't do anything yet. It's just staring at the closed closet door. Shoots it 3 times. Pyramid Head goes, and then turns around. And then he steps out, like, literally after he closes the door, and he's like, where's he going? And it follows him. And I'm like, what the fuck?
They've got that Silent Hill humor. I do.
What the fuck?
To go back to the melee combat, I think when I think of Silent Hill combat, I think of Condemned. Just very heavy. Mm-hmm. Like, every swing feels like it takes like a year.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. So, like, I remember. So 1, if I remember correctly, didn't rely so much on melee. I don't think 3 relied so heavily on melee either.
You had a lot of guns. I think she had a hammer or a baseball bat for a while, but once you had guns, you were not.
Yeah, like, it was like, once you picked up a gun, you were fine.
Yeah.
And then I think with all the other ones that I can think of, Melee, I mean, like towards the beginning, maybe like I remember there was like a lead pipe with one of them. I think a wrench with another.
The
But
room
beyond
had
that,
a
like
the room had a lead pipe, yeah.
yeah. But I know at some point once you got guns, it was fine. Right now with the pistol, and I don't remember how scarce ammo was in 2 originally, but when I go to find ammo, it's like only 2 or 3 bullets. I like that in a sense, but at the same time, I'm like, it's just different. So it's like I'm scared to use it because I don't know how good it's gonna be or how bad it's gonna be. So I'm trying to save it for when I actually need to use it.
I do like the limited ammo. I think the issue with limited ammo becomes we've designed these bosses that you're going to have to fight. So if we don't give you enough ammo to stockpile, you're going to be fucked. You're not going to be able to win this fight.
Yeah, like I
I think that's
remember.
why those early games lean so heavily on the melee because they're like, oh, we need to give them something to hit this with because we haven't given them enough ammo yet.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched enough of like speedrunners run the second game, at least enough like the beginning parts of it to see them fight Pyramid Head the first time. And they'll tell you like, oh yeah, just pull out your pistol and you shoot him at a rhythm. And every time you do it, he just basically gets stuck, and you can basically just nuzlocke him right there, and he's forced to then die. And it's like, okay, that's cool. I imagine there's probably something similar to it in this, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm scared to use my ammo on anything else because I don't know if I'm going to need it for him. And I'm only playing normal just because I don't remember too enough to be comfortable doing hard.
Because you're scared of
And
cat.
also, no, I normally play my games on hard, but they also put on there, it's not just the difficulty for the gameplay, they also have a difficulty for the puzzles.
Yeah, I love that. That's something I really loved
love
about
that.
3.
Yeah, absolutely love that.
Resident Evil Village. What's the name of the giant vampire lady that people want them to step
Lady
on?
D, Lady Demascutra,
Demasutras. Yes,
Yeah, how come no one's like saying that about Pyramid Head? Like, just
dude,
because
he's
manhandle me.
Because the first time you
daddy.
see him, he's assaulting somebody.
Assault me, Pyramid Head. Assault me.
Not only that, but let's be honest. As soon as he came out, like literally, he became like the poster child for Silent Hill.
And then when Village started doing their marketing and Lady D took off, I bet you someone at Capcom was like, she's only in like the first 2 hours of the game. Fuck.
Not only that, but her daughters are like, okay, what's going on here? We have a mommy daughter fetish thing going on. I don't like this.
Capcom's like, damn it! Now the gamers are only going to play the first 4 hours with a boner. What are we going to do?
Not only that, but then they're like thinking, okay, so we got creepy vampire mommy, we got super hunky werewolf daddy over here. What else can we throw in? And in between them, they have to throw in creepy doll situations where you have hallucinations, and then they throw in the creepy frog lake monster.
The game director was like, we need a boner killer for the middle of the game. What you got? what you got for me? Said, well, I have a doll that looks like a fetus. I have a doll that looks like a fetus from the PT demo that we kind of stole the look for. Is that okay? Well, they're not using it.
And then they come right back around with I forget the final antagonist name.
Oh, the witch. She's kind of the witch. She kills you, and then Chris comes through all Black Ops style.
Yeah, and then he's like, the anti-terrorism company that I helped create is flying away in a helicopter. They must have been traitors. Like, what the fuck is going on here? I don't know anymore. Chris, what the fuck is going on with your team?
Chris kills him, and he's like, I guess this evil was resident. And then the game flashes to black. Josh, you got some news for us?
Yes, I've got some fucking news. Let's go through the news.
Read all about it. Latest football scores. Morning paper. Morning Star. Paper, mister?
It's time for old news.
All right, what you got?
First off, we get our first Borderlands 4 gameplay footage to debut at the Game Awards. I think it's a terrible idea personally, seeing as we had what was known as the terrible movie come out this year. And yeah, I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, so this GameSpot article by Darren Bonthais kind of breaks it down. Randy Pitchford, who is a magician also, and head of Gearbox, was talking about Borderlands 4 being there. And we talked about it pre-show, like why, like I know you want to get past how terrible the movie was, and Borderlands 3 kind of came and went. I don't know numbers wise how it went, but I mean, there's still apparently fans of Borderlands that are like, we want more Borderlands, give us more Borderlands.
I know a few people who like love 3, but I'm like, I feel like people still clamor to 2 like it's like the golden child.
I think I know more people that like pre-sequel than 3.
Yeah, at this point. I don't know. And not only that, but we're going to talk about it later, but we're also getting into the tricky territory of Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, do you really want to push Borderlands 4 into that?
Well,
like, you're not going to win.
Also,
I can tell you that right now.
Also, just like, who's excited for Border? Like, what have those games done? Like, the only one I could think of that anyone had any semblance of excitement for was that Telltale game from 10 plus years ago now.
Which the only scene I absolutely remember in that is the fake gunplay. Yeah,
everybody finger gunning, finger gunning each other. I just hope this isn't the big announcement that they're planning for Thursday, where they're like, guys, Jeff Keighley looks into the camera all stupid like, and like, guys, are you ready to go back to Pandora? Screen to black.
Borderlands, yeah, it wasn't like, it was, the first one was cool. Second one, it had a great, everyone liked the villain, Jack. But other than that, like,
it's Handsome Jack.
It's Handsome whatever. Jack. Get it right. Yeah, exactly. Who's playing this for the characters of the story? That first game, the cool thing about the first game was like, hey, we got 1 million fucking guns, and they all do weird shit. And you guys like the art style, and you can do it with 4 friends. And that was cool. I was like, yeah, let's fucking do that. And I think they kind of got away from that messaging. I think you have to get back in that. You have to get back to that. That's what people like so much about that first game. The guns. Fucking lean on the guns. Stop giving me Claptrap. If I see one more goddamn Claptrap, I'm gonna fucking cap Randy Pitchford.
But
I should watch out with how things have been with CEOs. I probably shouldn't say that part.
Be a little careful there, Nick. FBI's gonna be knocking real soon.
No, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
He's got a manifesto.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Black is gonna like say or be in the Game Awards, like, oh hey, Minecraft movie, man.
Dude, Jack Black's one terrible movie away, which honestly at this point is Minecraft, from being like canceled at this point.
I'm gonna give Minecraft the benefit of the doubt. I think it's gonna surprise people.
It's up to me with like the whole what happened with Sonic. Why? You literally have the building blocks. Yes, I understand you want Jack Black, and I understand you want Jason Momoa. I get that. You are taking what is Minecraft and essentially throwing shit in someone's face saying, hey, this is Minecraft.
Well, I mean, we've had a good run of video game properties make the jump to movies and TV. It was about time that run came to an end, right?
That's fair. But we didn't even like any, like, other than Sonic at this point that I can think
Sonic's
of,
pretty
Mario.
good.
I can't think of any other ones from like, yeah, I'm super proud of being a gamer. Like,
Fallout.
Everything else is. What? I meant movie wise, not so much TV.
Okay, I was gonna say you got Fallout, you got The Last of Us. Like there've been a lot of good adaptations.
I mean more movie than TV. TV is just a whole different category.
What else you got, Josh?
Rocksteady confirms he's pulling the plug on the Suicide Squad. Killed the Justice League.
Suicide Squad killed not the Justice League, but itself.
This is an IGN article written by Kat Bailey. I'm sorry. So honestly, it was only a matter of time. The fact that they even made it to season 4 like baffles me.
It's over, folks. It's wrap it up. God. Go home. Get out of here.
Go home.
There's some people kept on posting that like the $70 version of the game was on sale recently for $5. Which kind of feels like the writing on the wall, like, hey, yeah, this thing doesn't have much longer. Maybe get in if you want to. Hey, get that. Hey, get that physical copy and put it up next to your Concord copy before it's gone. Because once it's gone, it's gone.
The deluxe, like that's. I'm not gonna lie. I would have spent $5 on it. $70, you can go kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned.
It was just a game out of time. Like, yeah, this game came out what? Yeah, right here. We're looking at January 28th, 2024. And
I mean, if it had come out like 10 years prior, I think it would have been fine. I think it would have actually done pretty well for itself.
Yeah, it would have been fine. It would have Would it have like beat out like Destiny or any of the stuff that was going on? No, but it would have carved a little niche for itself to be sustainable for at least a few years, as opposed to not even a full year here.
Now it begs the question, and your guys' opinion, which one do you think did better number wise, the Avengers or Kill the Justice League?
I don't know, man. They killed the Avengers pretty
Avengers.
fucking quick. I think Justice League probably did a little better.
And Jake,
I
you
would
said
say
the other way around.
Avengers. Yep.
See, I almost think the Avengers as well.
The only reason
Not
I think
by much though.
the only reason I think this is because I think because the Avengers game was attached to Square Enix. Like I forget who the developer, but the publisher was Square Enix, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And if Square thinks something's dead on arrival, Square will fucking plug and chug and get out of there.
They shut it down, but they still got content out there as well. I think it was only like what 2 DLC stories, I think.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you what did better, but I just think I think Rocksteady probably had a better go at it, but who knows? They both ended up failing in the end, so who cares?
Right. They're coming.
But hey, if you bought Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, go squeeze a little more game out of it, I guess. What's next?
I'm gonna skip the next one, Nick. I'm gonna go to the other one.
Good
first.
choice. Good choice.
Path of Exile 2. I picked this article. First off, this is Path of Exile 2 already has major nerfs after just 3 days. This is a Kotaku article written by Ethan Gach.
We've been back and forth on this one, Josh. It's either Gach or Gak. I don't remember.
I know we've been tossing and turning, but
I think you called him
mainly put
Gooch
this
at one
because
point for some reason.
Gooch, we probably did. So here's the deal: we haven't been on since it's been released, or since it was releasing. And honestly, from my understanding, it's been getting some pretty good reviews. I've watched a bunch of videos on it. First off, the tree that they have, I don't know if technically is the ability tree or if it's what do you call it, Jake? Technically, in a
Skill tree?
game like this, skill tree.
Yeah, skill tree.
Okay, the skill tree is huge. Like it honestly, it's up there. I think if I understand correct, it's almost up there with like Final Fantasy X. If you were to go through the whole entire sphere grid.
I think I saw
pretty
the
big.
skill tree on Blue Sky and didn't realize it was from Path of Exile, probably.
Yeah, it's huge. And the guy was the video I was watching, the guy showed, he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm like, I think he said like he's only like 6 or 7 levels in, and he only had like 2 things picked out. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that is massive. Which is great to hear. And from my understanding, other than a few things that people are pissed off about with some of the classes, from my understanding, it's been getting pretty good reviews. People are clamoring to it.
It's already early. It's early access, right? Not.
Yeah, early access.
Yeah, I think I do agree with the sentiment of it's better to nerf early, just because if you let players get something and hold on to it for too long, it kind of becomes status quo, and you get a little bit more pushback when something gets taken away.
And it's not all bad stuff. It's not like it's just the character, the classes, the weapons and stuff. They're also clamoring towards like some of the early bosses are kind of hard. Once you get into like a good chunk of the game, some of the enemy mobs are like unrelenting. So it's like, yeah, I get it. We're gonna go in. You're gonna balance some shit out. Like, yeah, you can't get everything in testing before releasing. So it's like, yeah, if you're being very proactive and you're going in and fixing this shit early on, like, yeah, that's a good sign of like, yeah, they're listening and they want to improve.
Yeah, get in and kill something before it really becomes a problem.
Yep.
Fuck reads one of the top responses. What good journalism. But hey, you know what? I never played the first one. Yeah, maybe I'll check the second one. We got Game of the Year stuff coming up. Early access is allowed on Argoni, right?
Oh yeah, and honestly, it's a Diablo-esque game. So it's like if you liked Diablo, you're gonna like this.
What are we finishing up here with, Josh?
We're finishing up on game publishers are too scared to reveal release dates because of GTA 6, according to a report. This is the Gamer article written by Jack Coleman. And I'm not at all surprised by this. Like if you came up to me and said, yeah, man, like Ubisoft is not scared, they're not afraid to go against GTA, I'd call bullshit, because honestly, everybody should be afraid because that's all everybody's fucking talking about.
Yeah, people.
Pussies.
I mean, in TV and movies, the saying is "survive till 25." I think in gaming, it's like, "Hey, shit's gonna be sick once we get GTA 6." Like, I think that's the thing people have been really saying. Like, GTA 6 is going to be like this big hero that I'm air quoting if you're listening. I'm air quoting so fucking hard. I hope you can hear it on mic. It's going to save gaming. It's going to
It's
save gaming.
don't get me wrong. I think it's gonna show like, hey, if you take your time and actually put fucking effort in your shit rather than releasing a game every year or every other year. Yeah. Otherwise, it's gonna show AAA companies have fallen so far.
What it's gonna show is that first of all, I think it's gonna sell. It's gonna be probably. I'm gonna say it right now. It's probably gonna be the highest earner in like media from a media standpoint. Uh, I do think it'll be one of two things. It'll show like, hey, these long development cycles are bullshit. Like they're bullshit and they're unsustainable, and we're spending a lot of money and not getting it back. Or it will be like, hey, no, this is what happens when you do it right. This is what happens when you sit down and put the work in instead of like trying to regurgitate stuff every 3-4 years. But I mean, development cycles have just across the board have gotten so long. I don't know when GTA 6 work on this officially started, because I mean, honestly, if Rockstar wanted to, they wouldn't. With the money they make off of GTA Offline, they really don't have to do a GTA 6. They really don't.
No, they could just keep that shit going, and people, well, they wouldn't be happy, but they would still fucking do it.
It's just like Steam. It's just like Valve and Steam. Valve doesn't have to do Half-Life 3 because Steam is now their cash cow. They're like, no, we don't. We give people a place where they can buy and play their games. We don't need to make games. So, and with Rockstar, it's like, hey, we give people a place where they can role play and stream all this shit. Like, we don't have to make GTA 6. And you kind of saw that because they didn't really do any story DLC for 5, aside from like the stuff that they added to online with Dr. Dre.
Which does not fucking count at all.
I know it doesn't. I'm just
awful.
pointing
The only kudos I'm gonna give them is the fact that you didn't have to drop $60 every time they came out with new shit. You didn't have to. You could just fucking play it.
It's just cute because all these publishers are like, oh, we're afraid GTA 6, but these publishers are afraid of releasing anything. It's like GTA 6 or not, they're fucking scared out of their fucking boots, man. Like,
and honestly, like I understand for an indie developer, like, yeah, you're not gonna want to go against that massive powerhouse. I understand them being afraid, but every other AAA out there, if you're terrified, it's showing that you're weak.
The times are changing. I mean, we don't have the Call of Duty numbers this year yet, do we? Has Call of Duty?
No, I don't think so.
I'm sure Call of Duty's selling well, but I mean, if I'm Microsoft and I just bought Call of Duty, like, who gives a shit when GTA 6 is coming out? You fucking put your foot in the ground and say, no, we're doing a goddamn Call of Duty. We spent these billions for this.
That's just it. But Microsoft's a whole different thing. Their whole thing is they're going to do whatever they can to keep the numbers on their side.
Well, and if you think about it as well, what else comes out during this holiday season? What is for sure coming? Like, Madden comes out in September, so it's outside of GTA 6's window, which I think is like October, November. What has been surefire out in November? Assassin's Creed up until this year, maybe, but
yeah, I mean, let's see. So it's October. I think it's MLB the show, right?
no, I'm not even talking the sports. MLB the show comes out.
Okay, so the sports in general, yeah. So sports in general. Other than that, Call of Duty technically usually is in the summer.
Call of Duty comes out October.
Most games,
October, November.
Most AAA games come out in the fall, if not early in the year.
Which one am I thinking? Wasn't there a set where they were coming out in the summer? Or am I fucking losing my mind?
I mean, they would announce shit in the summer.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Okay.
But yeah, there's nothing like think back the last 5, not even 5. Think back the last 3 years. And I know we've got COVID to contend for, and the shortages and everything. But what has been a staple release outside of Call of Duty for the last 3 years?
Third-person games.
I'm asking for brand names, because Sony tends to stay out. Sony tends to stay out of it. They'll release their big stuff throughout the year. They may have like one closing thing. I think I think God of War was November when it came out back in 20. Was that 22 that Ragnarok came out?
Yeah, 22.
Well, I know whenever Halo had games, they always come out in the fall too.
Right, but outside of Halo Infinite, no, we have Halo Infinite was now what 3? It will be 2 or 3 years now at this point.
3.
So
Something like that.
there's no major outside of Call of Duty. There's no major staple that comes out at the end of the year. So
Yeah,
I mean,
'cause
these
I feel like a lot of games they're doing nowadays is they're releasing one game and then just like updating it. Besides like Call of Duty
well these
and like sports
motherfuckers
games.
these motherfuckers aren't putting games out. They're not putting games out. So like, yeah, they're scared, but they weren't putting games out to begin with. They're not. So like, you know, let's turn the clocks back. Let's go back to 2000. Let's go back to 2008. Let's go back to 2008. You had a Halo, you had a Call of
Yeah.
Duty,
Mhm.
you probably had a shooter from Sony. You had EA shooter, which is either Battlefield or something they were experimenting with. Ubisoft had an Assassin's Creed. Am I missing anything major there?
No, I think for the most part you hit it.
And if you look at like Microsoft would usually have 3 releases. They would have their big shooter, which was either Halo or Gears of War. They would have racing, which was Forza Horizon. And they would have like their goofy, like the Gunk, or just their goofy experimental game for the season. Sony would have their one major release, maybe 2. You know, you would usually plug like an Uncharted in there. The last I'm not I don't quite remember when the first The Last of Us was. A Killzone would be plugged in there back in like the PS3 days. Nintendo kind of goes to the beat of their own drum, but they would usually have at least one thing going into the holiday. Now it's just so releases are so widespread throughout the year. Like it used to be when we got into June, everyone would be like, "Oh, it's slow. We ain't got nothing going on." And now it's just like it's spread out, and now we get to this time of year, and it's like, what's coming out? I mean, if you look at this year, we do have Indiana Jones, which again I'm playing, which I think is really really good so far. But yeah, man, to say they're scared, like they've been scared. They've been scared of releasing things. They've been scared.
I think at this point it's more of unless they have a for sure IP or a for sure winner, they're not gonna release anything. They're gonna play it safe or keep their cards close to their hearts and say, maybe this one.
They're gonna wait for it to come out, have it save the day, and then hey, we've got a bigger install base now. Push, 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 and they'll try to ride the coattails. But yeah, I'll get off my soapbox. I'll get off my soapbox now. Sorry, I'm editor, please insert sound of Nick stepping off a soapbox right here.
Well, I mean, if I would have finished with GTA 6, honestly, I feel like it's taking so long, and I feel like they might pull like a Cyberpunk where it just has a shitty launch, and then it gets better after that.
But that's just it. If they do that, people are so forgiving nowadays. I mean, look at what No Man's Sky. I mean, by God, that is probably one of the last times I pre-ordered a game.
Folks have very short memories, and when it comes to Rockstar, though, I feel like their games come out pretty well polished. It's their online part that comes out very shaky at the beginning, and people, oh, what are you doing, Rockstar?
Well, remember, I don't think the online for 5 came out until a year after they released.
Yeah, there was a window.
Yeah.
And I wonder how they'll do that, because I don't know how they want to split that player base, or if they want to like try. I don't know if they want to migrate the whole player base or try to like have half and half or whatever. But servers be expensive, guys. Servers be expensive. Speaking of all this GTA 6 stuff, Josh, you got a meme for us?
Me time.
Oh yes, I do. I think Nick probably liked this one.
I do. I think this is a very good one, Josh. Go ahead and explain it to everybody.
So for those who are listening only, basically it's the Terminator being labeled as GTA 6 hunting the little girl who is hiding underneath the desk crying, and that is the game publishers.
Solid meme, Josh. You did it again. You did it again, putting this one on the fridge.
I have my moments.
This meme, it's going on the fridge. It's going on the fridge, Josh. All right, hey,
Gold
we're close.
star.
Gold star. Hey, give him an A. Give him an A plus. He passes. Hey, we're gonna finish up our Arcane chat. We've got Act 3. For those a little fuzzy, we did talk about Act 1 and Act 2. You can go back to those episodes and re-listen, and then rewatch the Arcane. Do it all. Just do it all. You've got homework. Do it right now. But Act 3 came out a few weeks back, closed out the series as a whole. Just to open up the conversation, I was a little let down by this act. I think it started strong and then ended a little on the weak side. But you guys, I'll pass it to you. What did you guys think of Act 3 of Arcane Season 2?
All right, so that first episode on Act 3 it was kind of a tearjerker because it was kind of like a what could have been kind of situation with Echo and Heimerdinger going into a different universe. It was nice. What really made me like tear up was when his feelings towards Benzo, when he saw Benzo, because it was like a friend to him. It was like a guardian, or someone that he really cared about that he never really got to say like goodbye to.
Mm-hmm.
And I could relate to that somewhat, but yeah, like moments like that, it was cool. And then he had to go, and rest in peace Heimerdinger.
R.I.P. Heimerdinger. Oh, it took one for the team, staying back.
Someone told me that Yordles, though, that's what Heimerdinger is, his species, a Yordle, that they don't die. So he could still be alive, but I don't know.
Yordles don't die, they just go missing in action.
Yeah.
Okay, Spartans, calm down.
Another thing that I thought was cool, I liked Jace with the beard.
I did too.
The after Arcane, I'm like, dude, that's a badass dude. he looked better with the beard. But with him and when him and Mel go against that doll that Victor controls, I thought that was kind of a cool moment, because it kind of shows like, oh hey, this is what they're going to expect when going against all of them.
I do agree. I think that fight was definitely one of the more interesting parts, at least, of that episode. It also definitely foreshadowed a lot of like, hey, even with you working together, you're still gonna lose, because they barely won that fight.
And it was just one, it was this one little fellow. It wasn't like they were having an army thrown at them. Yeah,
so it was very much like and Jace pretty much admits, he's like, we're probably not gonna win. But that's okay, because we're gonna fight for what we believe in, and we're gonna protect our city.
Well, and to go back to that first episode, I really liked the split between what Jace was going through and what Echo was going through, because Echo had the very calm, very like reflective, like, hey, these are all these people I lost. This is this life I could have lived if things have gone differently, if things hadn't been so fucked up. And Jace, who is like in the first season living this high and mighty life, is like basically down in this pit trying to get out. And he sees the version of the world that happens when he goes too far, and he realizes like, oh shit, I've also gone too far in this other world. And it's kind of his he's already had, and that ends up being what he sees that makes him realize he needs to go back and take Victor out and stop what he's doing. Go ahead, Jake.
That's what I liked about, like, towards the end, you find out it kind of goes full circle, that Victor was the one that gave him the gem.
Yeah. So like, while Victor is the bad guy, really Victor is the good guy. I came away weird with Victor, because he's doing all this shit, and then you find out like, oh, he was the one trying to stop it the entire time. It's very conflicting, but also it goes back to season 1 where Jace was Victor was pushing for. They go back and forth. I think we talked about this.
They flip-flopped a lot. In the first and the second season, they were both like, at one point they're on the same side. Then it's like, no, we can't be doing this. Yes, we have to be doing it. And then it just kept switching, and it's like, Jesus Christ! Like, they were. It was in a good way. It wasn't like like they're only in the beginning where they like, yeah, we need to do this. At one point, it was just always one. They were dancing around each other. That
Right.
was what made it so great. I think at least their relationship was. After the beginning, they were never on the same side.
And I go back to Jace's injury in that pit. Like that scene was brutal, and they make it last a while. And like you see him trying to climb out, and it's awful. And then just to see like this decrepit version of him once he does get out. I really liked that, and I really liked Echo, as I said, seeing all these people, seeing Powder, but then seeing what Powder is going through, having lost Vi in this alternate reality, and seeing how that's changed her. I think, isn't it? Because you can kind of rewatch season 1 and pinpoint where this would have happened, right? You can pinpoint. It's the explosion that kills the 2 young boys, right, and everybody.
Yeah,
is it that explosion?
It's the heist. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the heist where half of their crew dies.
Yeah.
But I guess Vi kind of throws herself on the bomb or something, and like completely changes that. And Echo's got all these people. But yeah, Jake, you and I was confused by Echo's time powers because I thought he had already had them. But this is also the first episode of this act is where Echo and Heimerdinger create the machine using. My science is a little off here, but if I'm remembering, they use the Arcane to create this time machine that can only go back 3 seconds without fucking anything up, right?
4 seconds.
4 seconds. I'm sorry. I told you I get the math or science wrong.
Which I'm gonna blow your guys' minds. I've been watching a lot of videos about the cool facts in there. You ready for some of these cool knowledge drops right now?
Drop it right now.
I'm gonna drop one right now. The scene where they're dancing.
Yeah, Powder and Echo. Yeah.
It's done at 4 frames a second, which is a homage to his ability to turn back time 4 seconds. That's your little tidbit.
And then real quick, I wanted to go back to Act 2 because we did forget to mention all the flashbacks that were done in like watercolor.
Oh,
yeah, I think it's who's the monster man again? That's
Vander.
Yeah, Vander. Vander is seeing all of his memories of raising the girls, of the families in watercolor, and I believe they become corrupt or get erased by the end of the episode.
They get erased because he becomes one with Victor.
Right. And that's very disheartening, but also kind of pinpoints back to Jace's whole point of like, hey, if we all fall into this with you, Victor, we lose our humanity, which goes in the second episode, which is Killing a Cycle. First episode, for those who want to know, is Pretend Like It's the First Time. Beautiful title. I did like that this episode, or this cycle of this act, got away from the episodes being named after the songs, which again, I don't think the music was the greatest this season compared to the first season.
I still think it was like good, one or two. I think they had 1 or 2 songs.
I don't think they pull the title of the episodes from the songs of this act, though.
No, it's, a lot of the things they said you could hear. They all say it throughout each episode, basically.
Well, yeah. Like for example, the last episode, "Dirt Underneath My Fingers." That's the line that Vi says at the end of the episode.
Yeah. So, and on the point of those watercolors disappearing in the second episode, Killing Is a Cycle. Victor, I believe he erases who's the Sky. He erases Sky. She like becomes non-existent at this point. And I think Victor says, "I'm going to miss you," and Sky's like, "I don't believe you." She's like calling him on his shit for the first time. Like, no, you're kind of full of shit. Like, you're not going to miss me at all. You have full control of all of this. Goodbye, Victor. Fuck you, basically.
Yeah.
And she fucks right off out of existence, which I thought was kind of haunting. Like, that's this person who's already died now dying the second death. Chilling stuff. I thought that moment in the episode really stuck out because it's Victor not only giving up his humanity, but giving up other people's humanity. And I think that's the final moment you actually see him make the turn.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, the sex scene. The sex scene.
In the prison?
Oh, sex scene.
I was not expecting it if we're going to be like, obviously it's very much hinted throughout the whole entire 2 seasons. I just was not expecting them to go that far. At one point I was like, at some point it's going to cut off, and they just kept going. I'm like, I'm glad I was home alone watching it.
My mom walked in during this scene. My goodness. Oh no. Caitlin was just laying pipe the entire the entire series. Like, dear
This whole
God,
season,
Caitlin.
she was literally laying pipe left and right.
Yeah, Maddie and
So yeah, Vi breaks Jinx out of prison, and Caitlin comes down. She's like, "I knew you were gonna do that," and then they fuck.
Right there.
That's it. She's like, "You didn't notice there were guards missing?"
Oh, then I love her. Like, I want you to know there was another. I don't give a fuck.
Baby, I don't give a fuck. Let's fuck.
Cupcake.
And it's just this raunchy sex scene. It's they blur. I think they blur out some of their body. I wasn't like.
They didn't really like. No, they didn't show anything. But it was like, this is a good long 60 seconds, and I'm like, at what point is this going to get cut off? Because I was just like, because what is it rated? I don't remember what it's actually rated.
I have no idea. Probably rated M for mature. No.
I think it's like TV 14.
Yeah, it's like it's like, at a level where it's like, okay, but at one point I was just like, God, 30, 40, like, Jesus Christ, it just kept going, and I'm like, it's not a bad thing. I was just like thinking to myself, I'm glad I was home alone, because if Annie was there, she definitely would have made fun of me.
Josh is like, this sex scene, this sex doesn't last this long.
Hold on, 13 minutes 20 seconds. We're coming back to this one.
Josh kept pressing the back 15 seconds, and he's like, why is this still going? Oh my God.
My hand, what is it doing?
Oh no. Oh no.
It's attacking me.
But they do it, and then everyone's like, hey, it's war, baby. So you have your lovemaking scene, and then it's time for war. In the dirt under your nails, which is the series finale. Crazy to think 18 episodes and we're at this point. I thought the episode starts with Vi running back to the base of operations. Everything's already happening. And Bessa is already attacking with the Noxians, right?
Yeah.
They're already attacking. Vi and everyone with the Piltovians? I forget.
I don't know what they would be called. I just know it's the people of Piltover. I don't know.
Yeah, I did that.
We'll call them the Piltoverians. And so the whole mission is to stop Mbessa, but they're carrying up a thing that I believe they all think that Victor is in, and they're like, we have to stop that.
It's Victor's shell. He's in there. He's like turning, or he's basically evolving. They know they have to destroy it before he evolves.
Right. So they're all doing that. And, I think at one point, Caitlin gets captured by Maddie at this point.
So they go to sabotage Victor's carriage, and the bomb ends up being defaulted, and she gets betrayed, her and her platoon, and it is Maddie who is the traitor.
Fucking bitch. Fucking Maddie betrays him. Maddie's gonna... Go ahead, Jake.
What you forgot was it was Mel and Caitlin versus Mbessa.
Well,
right.
We didn't. It wasn't. It leads up to that, because remember, they go to put the bomb on the carriage. The bomb doesn't go off because there's a piece of something in it. It gets caught, and then they all get captured. Then Mel comes out, uses her shield to stop Mel's bullet from killing Caitlin, and bullet reflects and hits Mel on the head and kills her instantly.
Maddie,
and then it's
Maddie in the head.
Or Maddie, not Mel's. Yeah, Maddie.
Yeah.
Mel's
and then
still
Mel
well
and Caitlin
alive.
fight.
Yeah, I remember now.
He member berries.
Yeah, the Mbessa fight I thought was really good. There's a lot of family stuff there. She's tough as fuck, considering that it took both Mel and Caitlin to take her down.
And even then,
right,
it was right up there with the whole Mel Jace fighting the doll. It was like very much a brutal, like it took everything in them to beat her.
Right, and I forget what exactly do they do to. What is that? Because don't they have to destroy her part of her suit or something?
So they had the ruins that protected them from the arcane magic or rune magic. Technically, I don't know what the black rose technically is, but Caitlin sees it, so she takes the knife in the eye to cut the runes off of her, so that Mel can then take her amulet that the black rose gave her and toss it basically at her and turn the black rose onto Mel's mom.
Hmm. Oh, and at the top of this episode, we also forgot to mention that Echo is trying to stop Jinx from committing suicide.
Yes.
And it's this because now Echo has this powers. Jinx is jumping, and Echo's like no, and he pulls the thing and it resets, and he's like you see him in like minute to minute like trying to stop her, and I thought that was pretty cool. And you don't see how it ends up, but I thought that was a really cool setup for Echo being back in his proper world.
It was very heartbreaking too, because at that point he'd fallen in love with the person she should have been, Powder, and he's struggling at the same time because he's seen what she's done, and he's now trying to like not only still convince himself to get her away from it, but to keep her alive.
Yeah, she's killed a lot of people that he cares about, and basically, yeah, he's he's fighting for her life, even though she has no interest in being alive. Jumping back into present time, Jace is fighting. I think isn't it revealed that Victor's thing is like a ruse, and Victor was like somewhere else.
Yeah, so he was actually going up to the reactor itself, where Jace is actually trying to shut it all down before he got there, which you then find out was completely futile.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is uber depressing.
And this whole scene, it becomes it, it becomes hard to watch because it's basically Victor or one of Victor's bots touching somebody and then them becoming a bot, right?
Yeah, eventually, yeah, basically it is absorbing all of them, and that's all you see throughout the whole entire thing is everybody, all these side characters that you've been introduced to this whole season, turning.
Being fucking erased.
Yes.
Just becoming another fucking drone in Victor's army. The Victor
Yes.
stuff, in hindsight, it's a fucking bummer. It fucking bums me out.
It's also a really scary thought. I mean, yeah, yes, it's probably relieving in a sense of like, yeah, you're taken away from their earthly bounds and they're free. They don't have to worry about illness or money or hunger and all that. Like, yeah, you're freeing them, but you're taking everything from them.
Mhm.
Like, they're no longer there. It is no longer you and them. It is just you. It is just a terrifying thought.
We're all just cogs in the machine, Josh.
Yes, we are.
Around this time, I think Vi is also attacked by basically feral Vander, who is just just basically a part of Victor, is no longer himself. This brings Jinx out, which reveals that hey, she didn't go through with it. She's now got everyone's favorite outfit that everybody loves her in, and she's here to fuck shit up and help Vi win. And they're finally going to work together for this one last time. Not Vandor. Jace. It's revealed that the person that's been helping Jace the whole time has been future Victor. They both Jace embraces Victor, and then they both get like sucked into a void, right?
How dare you skip over one of the best parts of the fucking episode?
I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Let me reiterate. This episode fucking flies by. But go ahead, save me, boys.
So Jinx and Echo come in. So Jinx is flying this giant air balloon. I forget what they call them exactly, but she comes in with her Gatling gun, her signature Gatling gun, and is just mowing down the bots. And Echo and his team are flying around, basically saving people, getting everybody going, and it just becomes Echo, Jinx, and Vi against. Fuck, what's his name? Vander, but whatever his whatever he ends up being, I forget. But they fight him.
His monster name.
Warwick, thank you. And I'm fighting Warwick, like as they climb up, and then it becomes Vi and Jinx against Vander, while Echo goes up to rescue Jace, which then leads to the whole Jace slowly being turned and Echo scooting around on his little scooter, diving through all the bots, which was honestly probably one of the coolest scenes.
And there's a lot of cool time resets in that moment
You also missed another important thing. You guys forgot about Savika. And they come out when they thought...
They do technically. Well, that's up there with Echo and his team, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's when they come out. Yeah.
I didn't forget him. I said his team. I clearly stated it.
Again, I will
The
reiterate, this episode
reinforcements.
happens. Everything's happened so fast. Everything's
I mean, it
flying
really.
by.
I mean, it really does. It does not slow down one bit. And there's technically at least 3 different stories happening in that moment. You've got what's going down on the ground floor with Caitlin, Mel, and her mom. You've got what's going on in the middle of the tower with Vi, Jinx, and Vander. And then you've got what's going on top of the tower with Victor, Jace, and Echo. Like, literally, it is just continuously going on.
And yeah, it's okay. Are we all caught up now, guys?
Yeah, we're at the end. Let's go ahead and just knock this,
Yeah. So Victor and Jace get pulled into this portal. Who knows where they end up? Jinx, Vi, and Vandor are like hanging by the edge. Jinx does the noble thing and sacrifices herself. Her and Vander fall into the bottom of the tower pit. I think Jinx blows them up at that point.
Mhm.
But then you see some little glitches that like resemble Jinx moving about. Time flashes forward. Vi and Caitlyn are now together. Jinx may be alive, may not. I forget what Echo is doing.
He's sitting on the steps where he last talked to Powder. And,
That's right.
Is holding,
They do
the piece of paper.
They do the war memorial, and the piece of paper is somebody that was
Yeah.
lost during the war, and he's holding the one
Yeah.
for Powder. Oh yeah, Singed, by the way, Kyr's daughter, the one bad guy who got everything he wanted at the end. Fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Fucking unleash the evil of Victor into the world, but whatever. It's a really weird moment at the end because just about everybody's dead or gone. Just about everybody.
You guys know who his daughter is, right?
Who's his daughter?
Oriana.
Who is that?
It's just another League character.
Of course. I have no League knowledge outside of this and players.
But hey, let's also let it be known that they definitely left it for. I mean, they literally can go in any direction how they want to. We've got whatever Mel's country is, because she is now technically the
Noxus.
Yeah.
Which is more like where they're going to go next. But they've got that whole entire place to deal with, and then they've got one other one that I think they mentioned throughout the show.
I think you're right. I couldn't tell you the name right now, but I think
so some people think it's gonna probably be either Noxus or Demacia.
But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I would say because Noxus and Demacia are kind of like rivals.
Right. I remember they mentioned both. I think that's the other ones. They mentioned both of them throughout the show, so it's like more than likely that's the next direction they're going to go to. Plus, we have to figure out what's going on since Mel's now taking over, at least because her mom technically is just a ruler of the one group of that whole entire nation. There's like 3 other groups, I think, or 4 other groups. So they've got all that going on. Jinx may be alive just because of the way they left it off with, like Nick said, with the trails. And Caitlin was also looking at schematics of the tower and sees that there's like little vents that she could have escaped from, or appears that she may have escaped from. And then, of course, the end scene of the blimp flying out, which is called back to season 1, where she mentioned she's always dreams about riding in them. So we've got that going on. Heimerdinkle is dead, but more than likely he's actually alive.
He's hanging out somewhere.
What'd you call him?
Heimerdinkle. It's
Heimerdinkle.
It's Heimerdinkle. I said it right, didn't I?
Yeah, it's close. It's all right.
Whatever. Heimerschmidt. I don't give a shit.
So closing out, gentlemen, what do we think of season 2? I will say I enjoyed season 1 better. I liked this through to the end. I think things got glazed over a little fast at the end. I wanted a little more about Black Rose and what was going on there. I also kind of wanted a little more time before the war, but we had to get things going. But I was satisfied with where characters were left by the end of it. Even though I don't know if I'm gonna hop on another series of this, but yeah, I liked it.
I enjoyed it enough. I do agree that it did feel like it was very, like, everything felt normally paced except for the last episode. The last episode felt very rushed. because you had to pack so like if they had made it like even just a little bit longer, half hour longer, I think it would have been better. But for all in all, for what it is, I think it's fantastic. I definitely would love to see what they do next with it because honestly, I'm more intrigued than ever. And ever since I've watched it, I keep seeing more and more videos of their fighting game, and I kind of want to hop on board that. It looks pretty good.
Oh, I played it. I played the alpha. It's really fun.
It looks beautiful.
What about you, Jake?
Um, as someone that plays a lot of Riot games, I really enjoyed it. It was good for like a first like little animation. I mean, yes, they do like have like little cinematics, just like Overwatch did, but like this one was actually like a full on show, full on series. Some people were skeptical of uh Arcane when it first came out, but it actually was one of those video game series that was successful. And number two, season two was, I mean, it was good. It might have like kind of fell through the cracks with it kind of being rushed, but I still think it's a good watch. I mean, the hype was there. Um, it was overall, it ended really well.
I will say between this and players, I think Riot is 2 for 2 on the shows. So
100%.
keep going, gentlemen. Hey, let's wrap it up. I hate to kick Jake out of here, but we got to close the show. We did it. We've reached the end. We finally finished Arcane after our little 2-week hiatus there. Me, Nick, you can keep up with me on Blue Sky and Twitter at That Kaufman. You can also find me at Twitch and YouTube at Nick Fat Knight. Josh, where can the people keep up with you?
You can find me anywhere and everywhere. I'm Josh Sang.
Jake, what about you? When you're not hanging out in the CD podcast, where are you?
Usually you can find me on Twitter. It's where, well, actually I've been kind of slow on Twitter. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter or streaming on Twitch at Jakey Boy Kaufman. I mean, yes, this is, I won't be around again for a hot minute, but honestly, I had fun. Guys.
Well, we loved having you back, dude. It felt like the old days.
Yes, it did.
Hey, Smashing Game Time, we have a website, smashinggametime.com. We have the podcast and written words there, so go check that out. Josh, do you have a new one up over there?
I forgot to press sends. I still need to do it, but I'm still going to be ahead of you. Don't even shake your head, mister. Oh, yeah, I'm going to write it still. It's relevant.
I wrote a new hard drive piece. I was busy doing that, but I will catch up. I will. Smashing Game Time can also be found wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube Podcast, and YouTube proper. So go check us out. You can see our beautiful faces as I said before on YouTube proper. If you want to see some faces and put them to some voices. Fuck the algorithm, tell a friend. That's right. We don't fuck with no algorithms here. We are all about word of mouth. We want to see what that word of mouth do. Thank you, as always, to Alex Marvin Clark for our intro and outro song, Hunt Him Down. Alex, thank you. We have a link to his SoundCloud down in the show notes. Go check him out. Alex got some good stuff. And that's the show. Listen next week when Josh and I are picking out the GOATY 2024 categories. We're going to do that live. 10 categories. We're going to put them down on paper. We're going to do it live. Everybody, this has been Smashing Game Time. We hope you all had a smashing great time. We'll see each and every one of you next time.